So students, alternating current means what now? The current which is changing its polarity by direction alternatively. Like how we are going to represent this one? We are going to represent in this way, as we know. Okay, this is what alternating current, this is what the voltage we have taken, this is what we have taken along this time we have taken, and this is given by our formula E equal to E naught sine omega t, where E is what we call instantaneous value, instantaneous value, and this is what we call peak value, or we can say what students, amplitude, and this omega is what we call angular frequency, and this angle of frequency given by the formula 2 pi f, that is equal to 2 pi by t, because we know f equal to 1 by t, there is a formula. Okay, so this is a given as what no instantaneous value. Similarly, I can write voltage as v equal to v naught sine omega t, current as I equal to I naught sine omega t. So these are what now instantaneous value, these are the amplitude values. Okay, so that is when we connect a alternating source, how we are going to generate that using what now Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction, there is a generation of alternating current. Okay, that I don't want to discuss again. We get from this formula d phi by dt with number of turns n, okay, with negative sign. That is a different thing, we'll discuss in some other chapter. Okay, electromagnetic induction. Here there is a concept is that one value is there, no, that is RMS value. Okay, RMS value. So why we take RMS value? The main purpose of using RMS value is in order to indicate or express the value of alternating current in similar way as direct current. We are going to use alternating current, means RMS values. So what are these RMS values? RMS, IRMS, root mean square. RMS stands for root mean square, that is given by I naught by root 2, and VRMS is given by V naught by root 2. I think you already learned these things, how these values are come in a theory part. Okay, we don't want to go for the theory part now. Okay, IRMS is equal to I naught by root 2, VRMS is equal to V naught by root 2. This is what we call virtual value. Virtual value. Okay, so here I naught is what we call maximum current. I naught stands for what now? I naught stands for maximum current or peak current. Okay, so this is the relations I naught and V naught. You need to remember here, this we can write like this also. This root 2 means what now? Root 2 value is 1.414, and since it's 1 by root 2, 1 by root 2 value is 0.707. This is very important number, you should remember. So I can write from here as IRMS is equal to 0.707 I naught, and VRMS is equal to 0.707 V naught. Okay, this is what we call virtual value or RMS value, or we call effective value. So there are different names are given for this. So this is about what no values. Okay, usually in alternating current, what we're going to express in daily life, we are going to express RMS values. We are going to express. Example, our main switch is there. We are going to get a voltage of how much in a main switch? We are going to get 220 volt, right, and 50 hertz. Do you know? So this 220 volt nothing but it is a virtual value VRMS. Okay, this is what of VRMS. This is the frequency of Indian frequency what we are using now. Sir, if they ask you what is the peak value, use this relation now. Okay, then V naught equal to root 2 times of VRMS. Root 2 means how much? 1.414 into this is 220. Almost you are going to get 311 volt. This is the peak value of alternating current, this that what we are using in a daily home. Okay, electronic appliances. Okay, next thing we go for like power. So what is the formula for power? As we know, power is given by, let me go, this slide is clear. Can I go a bit little slower? Okay, I'll go a little bit slow. And this slide is clear to all of you? Yes, just I'm discussing the synopsis with you now. Yes, power, how can we represent? Power P equal to voltage into current, that we're going to take Vrms into Irms into, there is a value cos phi. This cos phi is what we call power factor. Power factor, and here we know Vrms value, Irms value, and we're going to use these values. Okay, so here P equal to V equal to I into R, right? We know. Then if I replace here, it has become what, I square into R, where this is the RMS. Or you can use like this value, or you can use like this VRMS square by R. That is the value of power. Okay, this is one thing. Now we go for next what now? Connecting this alternating current, what we're taken, alternating voltage to different circuit elements like AC applied to resistor. As we apply AC to resistor, so here current and voltage, they are leading or lagging. Which one is leading? No one is leading, right? Current and voltage are in same phase. The phase angle between what now? Remember, phase angle between current and voltage is 0 degree. Means no one is leading, no one is lagging. One thing. Okay, of course, current is given by what formula? I naught into sine omega t, and voltage is given by what formula? V naught into sine omega t. This is the formulas are applicable. Okay, now this is not an issue, because when we go for AC applied to, in the case of resistor, if I take some other circuit element, example, now AC applied to what now? AC applied to inductor. Okay, now tell me what will happen. Which one is going to lead? The phase angle between what now? Phase angle between current and voltage is how much here? 90 degree. As I know, current and voltage how much now? 90 degree. So which one is leading here now? Which one is lagging? Do you remember? Students, do you remember in the case of inductor? Hmm? Voltage is leading and the current is lagging, right? Yes or no? Hmm? You should remember these things here afterwards again, once again. Here, voltage is leading. Voltage is leading, current is lagging by how much angle? 90 degree. So I can say voltage is leading, current is lagging. Okay, by how much angle? 90 degree. That is what we call inductive circuit. Sometimes the people will say pure circuit. Pure inductive circuit, remember what you know? It is just containing only inductor, nothing more than that. Okay, that is what we call pure inductive circuit. If they say pure resistive circuit, that must pure only resistor must be there, nothing else. Okay. Now, in this case, one more thing we need to know, that is what we call inductive reactance. Inductive reactance. What is inductive reactance? It is the effective opposition offered by the flow of alternating current by whom? By inductor. This inductive reactance we indicate with XL. And what is the formula for XL, students? XL is given by omega L, where L is the inductance, omega is the angle of frequency, given the formula 2 pi f into L, where L is what we call inductance. and F is what we call frequency that we already indicated somewhere in a previous slide. Okay, so this is the one thing you need to remember. Now, sir, for AC, DC, what is the condition here? Let us see. For AC, so there is some frequency, right? For AC, frequency is finite. Then, if you use this formula for XL, so what is XL now? XL is 2 pi FL. So there is a finite amount of resistance will be there for alternating current by whom? By inductor. Now for DC, okay, F is how much? Frequency is 0. So XL become what? 0. Means inductor will not oppose DC direct current. You need to remember this point. Okay, inductor will not oppose DC. So because its inductive reactance become how much? 0 for what type of current? DC current. So one. So now next we go for when we take AC, what we do now? Applied to capacitor. In this case, so of course phase angle is how much? 90 degree. Which one is leading here? Current leads by voltage by how much angle? 90 degree. 90 degree means what it is? Pi by 2. Okay, so when we apply AC to capacitor, of course, here there is a one more new topic like this here, like inductive reactance, capacitive reactance. So what is capacitive reactance? Of course, it is the opposition of the flow of current, AC current by capacitor. So it is given by formula X is equal to 1 by omega C, 1 by 2 pi FC, where C is what we call capacitance. C is what we call capacitance. Okay, C is what we call capacitance. So let us see for AC. Okay, frequency is finite. Means there is some value of frequency. Then look at here now. So XC become what now? 1 by, there is finite value. It will become little bit less finite. Means what is the meaning of less finite? XC is less low and it will oppose very little. But look at for DC now. For DC, okay, frequency is how much? 0. If I use this formula, so XC become 1 by 0. 1 by 0 means infinite, right? So it will oppose the flow of DC current. Means like if you have taken a capacitor block DC, allow AC. Look at here now. This is capacitor block DC because infinite resistance, allow AC because less resistance is there. Inductor is done here. This inductor will block AC and allow DC. Okay, block AC and allow DC. Because for AC, inductor will give high resistance. For DC, inductor will not have any resistance at all. Resistance becomes 0 for DC here. Okay, so 0 means it will allow. Here it is finite means it will try to block. Here it is infinite means it will block. Less finite means allow. Okay, it is going to allow. So this is about now when we applied alternating current to inductor, capacitor and resistor. Okay, so can we move on to the next slide then? Now when we combine these three things, now what will happen? Series LCR circuit will happen, right? So when we combine what now? These three circuit elements like inductor, capacitor and resistor. Let us see now when we combine. So we'll come what now? LCR topic, LCR circuit. LCR circuit means what now? We take inductor, we take capacitor, and we take what now? Resistor. LCR. We connect it to what now? Alternating source we are going to connect. Let's say this voltage V equal to V naught sine omega t. Here voltage drop VL Here voltage drop, how much it is? VC. Here voltage drop VR. That we are going to get VL equal to I into XL and VC equal to I into XC and VR equal to I into R. And if you simplify this with the help of what circuit diagram? Phasor diagram with this circuit and phasor solution, phasor diagram method or any method, final result is same, but the way of doing the methods are different. We get what now? Impedance we get. This is what we call impedance. What is impedance? Effective opposition output to the flow of what now? Flow of LCR circuit, okay, to the alternating current. That is what we call impedance. This impedance is given by formula square root of XL minus XC whole square plus R square. Okay, so here we can use this formulas XL and XC. So as we know, XL equal to what formula? Omega L, and XC equal to what formula? 1 by omega C. We can use here, and we can write Z is equal to square root of omega L minus 1 by omega C whole square plus R square. Okay, this is the formula for what? Impedance. And current is given by what formula? V Z by Z. That is the impedance we are going to use. Okay, now here there is a phase angle over there. Like if I draw the diagram of what now phasor diagram. So this is VL minus VC. This is VR, and this is what now V actually. Okay, and this is the phase angle. Let's say phi tan phi. So that tan phi means the phase angle between what now? Current and the voltage drop. So now we need to find the phase angle. This phase angle is how much? For the formula? Phase angle is given by XL minus XC by R, or we can say phi equal to tan inverse of XL minus XC by R. So this is the phase angle between current and voltage in the case of what now? What in the case of LCR circuit? Phase angle. Okay, this is a phase angle between LCR circuit. Here, one topic you need to remember. Look at this equation. If you look at properly, if I take this equation here, I equal to VZ. Okay, so VZ means current into. This is not Z. It is V. Yeah, of course, it is Z. Correct. So to get a value of maximum current, voltage divided by impedance, how much is there? I'm going to use this equation. Impedance is given by I equal to, okay, XL minus XC whole square plus R square, and entire thing I'm doing taken here inductive dominated circuit means I can say XL is greater than XC. Sir, what if XC is greater than XL? Then you just reverse it. That's it. You take in the place of XL minus XC, you take it as XC minus XL. That thing. So for maximum current, the value of denominator need to decrease. Okay, and we cannot remove circuit elements now. So by adjusting the value of what and what you know, by adjusting the value of this XL and XC, we can reduce the denominator so that the current will increase, because the resistance we cannot do nothing with that. So now for maximum value of current, so XL must be equal to XC. This is what we call resonance condition. Okay, if you simplify this, you're going to get a formula for frequency. Frequency is equal to what? 1 divided by 2 pi root of LC. This frequency is what we call resonant frequency. Okay, what you call resonant frequency. That is condition for what now? Maximum value of current. Okay, so this is the one thing you can remember about what now LCR circuit. Here, One more thing you need to remember, what you know, the power loss. The power loss in the case of what now? Pure resistive circuit and pure inductive circuit and pure capacitive circuit. So in the case of pure capacitive circuit and pure inductive circuit, there is no power loss at all. Power loss is how much? Zero. Average power loss is equal to zero in the case of what now? Inductive circuit and capacitive circuit. And these two circuits, the value of power loss is zero. We will prove it later. Okay, no need to prove. Okay, because what will happen physically? So this is going to happen. Inductor is going to happen magnetization and demagnetization. In the case of capacitor, capacitor is going to happen charging and discharging. So both equally applicable. Now both the cases, average power dissipation become how much now? Average power dissipation becomes zero. Okay, that's the thing you need to remember. Yes. And one more next topic you need to remember, what now? Sir, regarding transformer you need to remember, and the value of Q factor. Okay, so students, this slide is clear. Can we go for next slide?
Yes, sir.
Yes. All these formulas you have learned already. These are not new formulas to you people. These formulas already you are learned. Okay. Yes. Here Q factor you need to remember. Q factor. What actually Q factor is, right? Q factor will give us information related to what now? Okay, what is Q factor? Okay, basically that we are going to set the channels, right? So that is channel name we're going to set like 99.2 or Red FM, all those things. So it is like basically varying the value of XL and X. Okay, that we are going to use. That with the help of Q factor we are going to decide. So this Q factor is given by what? It is defined as either XL by R or we can say XC by R. That is the formula for what now? Q factor is the ratio of what now? Same type of quantity. So it does not have any unit. So I can say that no unit. For what now? For Q factor, there is no unit at all. Okay. So now let us move on to the next topic, that is transformer. What actually transformer is now? Transformer is a device which convert one value of voltage to what now? Another value of voltage by changing the value of what now? Current. Yes or no? So transformer, there are two types are there. One is step up transformer. Step up. One more is what now? Step down transformer. These two are there. How can we decide, sir? Step up and step down. So in the case of step up transformer, the number of turns in primary coil. Okay, let us take now. Number of turns in secondary coil is greater than number of turns in primary coil. The number of turns will be there in a secondary coil will be more as compared to number of turns in a secondary coil. Okay, number of turns in primary coil. So it is called step up. Sir, what is step down? Number of turns in secondary coil will be less than number of turns in primary coil. Or you can say like this, number of turns in primary coil will be greater than number of turns in secondary coil. That is what we call step down transformer. So here you can get a question. On what principle is step up transformer work? It is based on mutual inductance. That is the principle of what now? Step up or step down transformer. Okay, that is the principle of transformer, we know. One thing. So next thing, there are some formulas you need to remember here during the transformer case. That is the relation between current voltage, relation between current, voltage and number ratio. So these three you need to remember, these always help you. So here voltage in primary coil, okay, voltage in secondary coil to the voltage in primary coil is equal to number of turns in secondary coil to the number of turns in primary coil. That is equal to current in primary coil to current in secondary coil. So this relation is very important. You need to remember in the case of what now? Transformer. So either you can use these two, or can use these two, or can use these two, based on the requirement of the problem. What problem we are solving? What is the question? That we are going to find out. Okay, and here sometimes they'll ask you the concept of efficiency. So what is efficiency? Efficiency we are going to indicate with theta. It is given by what now? Output power divided by input power divided by input power. This is what we call efficiency formula. We are going to remember. So here there is a loss is there, right? There is a losses in transformer. So what is actually the main reason for losses in transformer? So one is flux leakage, loss. What is now flux leakage? Eddy current loss. Eddy current loss. Next, copper loss. Next, hysteresis loss. It is not LOW, LOSS it is. Okay, LOSS. These are the different losses in what now? Transformer which occur. Okay, so these are the losses of transforming energy in the case of transformer. So with this topic, with this key idea synopsis, what we're going to do now, we're going to start solving some of the questions related to this. Okay, some of the questions related to this. Okay, so I'm giving you now. Okay, we're going to solve what now? Questions related to this.